So the next renewable energy we are going to see is oil. So this almost comprises of 40% of energy needs of the world. So out of 100%, 40% of energy source is used from the oil. So we know that oil prices are increasing day by day. Moreover, oil is abundant for us and we have only low reserve oils. So considerably, India is also having oil reserves as low. So where what are the different locations we are having oil resources are Assam, Tripura, Manipur, West Bengal, Punjab, Ganga Valley, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, eastern and western states of uh, western coastal areas in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, like that. And other than this, out of India, down the India, you are having oil reserves in Andaman and Nicobars and Lakshadweep. So as this is a disadvantage, we are going for the future renewable energy sources. Next one is gas. This is also one of the inappropriate renewable source we are using. So other than this, we can use different renewable energy sources which are abundant, but in some areas we can use gas as a renewable energy source. What are the disadvantages we see in this? Gas cannot be transported. So if you want to transport it, it will be very expensive, and it is incompletely used because complete gas cannot be used as a renewable source. Completely we cannot depend on the gas. So these gaseous fuels are classified as two types, but such some industries and household purposes we use gas also. So what are the different purposes we see? So first one is there is a different gas of fixed composition. First type is fixed composition gas. Only simple composition will be there: acetylene, ethylene, methane, like that. And second one is composite industrial gas. So this is mainly used in industries. What are the different types we see? Producer gas, coke oven gas, water gas, and blast furnace. So this gas is used lessly. So next, coming to the next renewable energy source, agriculture and organic waste. So these agriculture and organic waste are also used in small quantities. We are not full-fledged using this organic waste. At present, small quantities of agriculture and organic waste are we are using. So what are the different types of agriculture and organic waste are? Sawdust, garbage, animal dung, paddy husk, and corn stem, accounting a major energy consumptions. Okay, so these are used for only rural urban areas, and most of the remaining material we are using in this agriculture waste is burnt, and this is left unused, causing environmental problems. So if you use this renewable source, we are burning it, almost it is burning and it is used. So after burning, the left hash material should be disposed safely. So you have to transport the renewable energy source, and you have to transport the waste also from that. So the transportation cost will be also high, and this transportation of waste should be done outside the living peoples, and they should be safely disposed into the rivers or oceans or some places where it is not occupied by the people, right? So if it is not safely disposed, again it causes the environmental balances. And moreover, if we want to use this renewable energy source, if we want to use this renewable energy source, we have to uh, build some equipment by our own. So in order to, for our convenient, you have to build the equipment in order to use renewable energy source in different ways. So burning equipments and extracting energy from materials should be developed to use always. So these resources are not fitted for the rural areas. Only these are used for the urban areas. Right. Next major renewable source is water power. So the force which is inside the water, we are using that water force of the water, and we are using for our different types of purposes. So first one is the power in the water is developed by allowing the water to fall under the gravity. So if we uses the force of gravity, and if you use the force of the gravity, the water can be used for the thermal power, hydropower station. So if you are using a water and running a plant, it is called as hydropower station. Okay, next this water, the power from the water has been started from 12th century onwards. So by using the water, 12th century onwards, electrical power transmission is done. So nowadays we are upgrading the technique, and we are using for hydel power plants. So this started from 12th century only. So from 12th century, development of electrical power transmission has been started. Before that, they are using, but they are using the water power, but of small capacities only they are using. So less than 100 kilowatts, say less than 100 kilowatts hydropower electric plants are also used there. So nowadays we are using more than 100 kilowatts power. Next, how is the water used is the potential energy present in the water is converted into the mechanical energy. How it is converted? The potential energy of the water is converted into mechanical energy by using prime movers. Okay, so when the water is allowed to flow on a prime mover, example of prime movers, we can say that those are hydraulic turbines. So hydraulic turbines means they will be resembling our exhaust fan. So what you are using for the air to flow out, that is the exhaust fan in our houses, household appliances. It is used for sending the air inside, air outside. So it will be, the hydraulic turbine will be in the shape of that exhaust fan. So when you are allowing the water to flow on the turbine, to flow on one of the blade of the fan, that is hydraulic turbine, the turbine will be moving. Okay, and this turbine, what it do? This turbine is, it is shafted to the generator. It is connected to the generator shaft. So if the turbine moves and the center part of the shaft is connected to the generator, already the generator will be moving continuously. So with the rotation of the turbine, the generator movement will be there. So for the rotation of the turbine, we have to force some water onto the blade of the turbine. Okay, that is the potential energy. And what is the mechanical energy we are delivering? The movement of turbine and the consequence movement of the generator, that is the mechanical energy we are getting from the potential energy. So when the water flow is made to flow on the turbine blade, the turbine moves in any direction. So the generator shaft connected to the turbine also moves. So the automatically generator moves. So if generator moves, the armature moves, EMF will be induced and electric power will be developed in that one. So this is the cheap method of producing electricity. As we know that water is abundantly available. Okay, so every year we are getting waters with the rainfalls, and it is not a exhaustible source. So every year it is abundant. So water is one of the cheap method. Cheap means low cost method to produce the electricity. But one disadvantage is there are some disadvantages. The capital cost of the hydroelectric power plants is higher. So when compared to the other power plants, we are saying this, when compared to the other thermal or steam or some power plants, this capital cost of hydroelectric power plants will be higher. And but after once construction of the hydropower plant, we have low operating cost, because nothing fuel is no fuel is required, only we want water, and this water can also be recycled if it is used in a proper manner. Okay, so this water can also be reused, so it is a reusable fuel. Once you get the water, we can reuse. So extra amount cannot be invested on the fuel for purchasing the plant, for purchasing for the plant, to run for the plant. Okay, so in our country, we are having a Bihar powerhouse. So this Bihar powerhouse of B Sutlej link, located on the right bank of Sutlej river, is one of the largest size power plant in our country. So it is comprising of six units of total 165 megawatts power. Okay, so total 165 megawatts power is divided into 6 units. So each unit produces some amount of power and total gives 165 megawatts. Total output power we are getting from that plant gives 165 megawatts power. So this hydroelectric plant is one of the indirect ways in which solar energy is also used. So, and it does not have a disadvantage of not eco-friendly. Okay, so it is eco-friendly, no pollution will be there, it is pollution free. But although it is having some disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages of hydropower plant? We will see. So if you can overcome these disadvantages, we can go for hydropower plants than any other power plants of our choice. Okay, so first one is it takes more time for the construction. Nearly it takes 6 to 10 years for planning, investigation and construction. So for planning means where we have to decide, we will have to decide where to construct this. So we have to see some site for this, and this site should be seen away from the living people. So huge amount of amount of land should be bought. So this includes a high capital cost, high investment at starting only. So it takes about 6 to 10 years for this planning. Site should be seen, and for investigation of land. Land means if the soil is perfect for the construction of plant or not, you have to see. And water resource, where are the water resources nearby? So exactly at the nearby only we have to construct this plant. So because the transportation of water to some distance also takes so long time. Okay, so near water resources only we have to construct this plant, and we have to plan for that water resource also. And after that, the main one is you have to dispose that water. Okay, so the used water should be again disposed safely and should be reused. So all these considerations takes lot of time. So it takes about 6 to 10 years for investigation and construction also. And next one is capital investment. So though we are keeping huge amounts of capital investment in this, but we have to go for foreign sources for the equipments. Example, for turbines, for construction of turbines, for boilers, we have to export them from the foreign sources. So this will take a little bit high cost. And after that, the main problem, the main disadvantage is we have to if any problems in the future occurs, we have to relocate it. So exactly what you are having the equipment, this should be relocated. And if at all, if you want to increase the size or capacity of the hydropower plant, that also we should consider at the first. This is what we discussed in the first disadvantage for construction. For site location, uh, we have to take much time. So before construction only, we have to keep in mind that if you want to increase the power, increase the capacity of the hydel power plant, and site should be taken at the time only. Okay, so there will be so many growing problems on relocation of villages involved. So compensation for this damage we have to give for the villages, and we have to suitably resettle the area and environmental impact. So we have to overcome all the problems from the villages also, because it is nearly located at those only, because in urban areas we cannot construct these hydropower plants due to pollution, due to not pollution, due to water due to crisis of water resources. So it should be done in rural areas only. So resettlements, compensations for the damage, these will be other disadvantages after the construction of the plant. And this will not be, moreover, this will not be economical to the rural areas because of long transmission lines to the villages. From there we have to do some uh, we have to give long transmission lines to the villages. We have to put long transmission lines. So this has low power factors. These long transmission lines has low power factor, and because of these long transmission lines to the villages with low power factor, the electric power will be available to the people in rural areas may not be economical, because the tariff rates will be increasing in this conservation. So this will not be economical to the rural areas. So considering all these disadvantages, we have to reduce the cost first of all to give electric power. So if you want to reduce the cost, we better go for mini or micro hydroelectric projects. So solution for overcoming the disadvantage. So only my mini and micro hydroelectric power projects can be developed at the remote areas. So in order to reduce the cost of the development also, several measures has to be considered. So development of low cost turbines, we have to take low cost turbines and generators. And next one, participation, we have to make the villagers participate in this development and operation for the project. And we have to tell the awareness when the hydel power plant comes and when it is in the working condition. So the technology should also be used in the appropriate way. Next, one of the future renewable source is nuclear power plants or nuclear power. So what is this nuclear power? We will see. Firstly, we will see what is an atom. What is atom? Matter consists of minute particles. A matter consists of minute particles. It is called as atom. These atoms represent enormous concentration of binding energy. They have enormous concentration of binding energy in them. So by the use of these atoms, we can produce nuclear power. So this nuclear power again converted into the steam, we can use it for electricity purposes. So what are the various elements we are using for this nuclear power? Are there three large main uh, elements. First one is uranium 235, thorium 232, plutonium 239. So by using fission process, controlled fission process, and this fission process we are using should also be very controlled manner. So we are able to control the fission process. This controlled fission process of heavier and stable atoms of uranium, thorium, plutonium, artificial elements, these are all called as artificial elements. These liberate large amount of heat energy. If you use them in a controlled fission manner, we can liberate, they can liberate large amount of heat energy. Okay, so this heat energy, this enormous release of energy from a small mass of nuclear fuels make the source of energy a great important for us. So little bit huge energy will be used for developing very huge electric power. So for example, if you see 1 kg of, if you are having 1 kg of uranium 235 at our plant, so this 1 kg of uranium, if you burn it, if you use it for developing the electricity, it is nearly equal to 4500 tons of high grade coal. So if you burn 4500 tons of high grade coal, we get some electricity. The same electricity can be obtained from only small 1 kg quantity of uranium. And if you burn oil, it will be equal to 2200 tons of oil. If you burn 2200 tons of oil, we get the liberated energy equal to 1 kg of uranium burnt. Okay, so this is the future renewable energy source, though it is having some disadvantages. So we can locate the uranium 235 in two areas. So if you see this uranium 238, if we will discuss some matter. So the heat energy produced by this nuclear fission of atoms of uranium, thorium and plutonium of feasible material, we can use them in special heat exchangers. So the energy of these can be used in the special heat exchangers which produces steam. Okay, so when you burn this uranium, thorium and plutonium, they produce a steam. So this steam is allowed to forcefully flow on our turbines, on our turbo generators. These are called as turbo generators. And when this steam is allowed to flow forcefully on the turbo generators, electricity will be developed automatically. Okay, so what are the limitations, main drawbacks of nuclear power plants we see? So these are the main drawbacks. So we have to consider other than other power plants, these drawbacks are considered mainly. First one is high capital cost of nuclear power plant. So if you want to invest in nuclear power plant, we have to see uranium, thorium or plutonium. These three are available for us. So for getting these three, it is of high expensive cost elements. So next, limited availability. So the availability of this will be limited also. So if it is available in 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg like that, not in tons as of coal and oil. And after we are using this nuclear power plant, disposal will be a headache. So difficulties will be associated with disposal of this radioactive waste also. And main drawback is we do not have well-trained persons. So shortage of well-trained persons will be there for handling, for a clear-cut picture of this nuclear power plant. So uranium reserves also small, but they can be recoverable. So recoverable means we can extract them, but for extracting the process, the process of extracting this uranium will be high, expensive. Okay, so compared to the oil reserves, when you are comparing oil, how it is how we can get that oil. So if you compare oil and uranium, only 3% of oil we can get those elements. In oil, if it is available in 100%, only 3% of uranium, compared to oil, only 3% of uranium is available. Okay, so in developed areas like France, countries like France produces about 30% of its total energy by nuclear method only. Whereas India has only uranium sufficient only to produce 6 into 10 power 6 kilowatts of power. That is, when compared to the France, India is producing only 1% of current energy requirements through this nuclear power plants. Okay, so what is the how we can overcome this disadvantage means, if you develop fast breeder reactors, which is free from technical difficulties. So for fast breed reactor, we know we can overcome all the disadvantages of the nuclear power plant. So if you develop a fast breeder reactor, it can decide the future nuclear power plants. So controlled fusion may also be added brighter prospects. So if you can control the fusion process, it also adds a brighter prospects for use of this nuclear energy. So where are the places the uranium is located are Jadaguda and Narva. This is located at and Batin in Bihar. About 33,000 tons of uranium will be located. In these two locations, about 33,000 tons of uranium can be located. And the other deposits are also there in Bihar, Singhbhum, and minor deposits we can find out in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan. And these all are in exploratory stage. Exploratory means they are about to use stage. So if you take a uranium, it can produce 5,000 to 10,000 megawatts power in its lifetime. So before we can use this uranium in exploratory stage, it can be used for 5,000 to 10,000 power generation of megawatts power generation in its lifetime. Okay, so in India, we know that India is a developing country. So we know that India is a developing country. So in uranium, it is very expensive to extract. So India is on the side of on the side of thorium, because thorium in India, thorium is also present at monazite sand. So this is in west coast. So India's interest lies in thorium breed reactors. Okay, so we can use a nuclear power plant and use thorium as a element, thorium 232 as a nuclear element. Okay, so this will reduce the high capital cost of the nuclear power plant of India. So what we get if you do that, the capital cost will be increased, or otherwise we have to export this from the foreign sources. So these are the various types of renewable energy sources we have gone through. And after that, firstly, in second and third chapters, we are concentrating on solar energy. So completely, this is the abundant and inexhaustible renewable source. So make a look on that. Next topic is solar radiation. So what is this solar radiation? What is the first sun's energy? The energy produced and radiated by the sun is called as sun's energy. Okay, so solar radiation is produced from the sun. So solar energy received will be in the form of radiation, and it can be converted directly or indirectly into the other forms. Okay, so other forms can be directly used or indirectly. By converting it into the other forms we can use it, such as what are the other ways, such as heat, electricity, etc. These all sources can be utilized by the man. So it can be indirect or direct. So because we know that sun is an inexhaustible source of useful energy, we can depend on solar energy as a renewable source for future. But the major drawbacks are, what are the major drawbacks? We do not get constant solar radiations. So all the time we cannot get the solar sun's rays. So the intermediate and variable manner in which it arrives into the earth's surface is a main drawback of the solar energy. And second main drawback is, in order to collect that solar energy what you are getting from the sun, we need a large area, and large area should be occupied with black color panels, and we have to use that energy for other purposes. So for collecting that much energy we have to use a large area. So small sun ray cannot produce any electricity. So when it comprises of large heat only, it gives some electric power. So what you are intaking is large, and what you are getting yield ratio will be low here. So what you are taking is large in huge quantity, and it is used for producing some resources, some uses it will be used, but what you are using is less, what you are getting input is more. So this is the main drawback. Large area should be required to collect the energy for our useful manner. So nowadays experiments are going on to use this energy for power production, house heating, air conditioning, cooking, high temperature melting of metals. All these purposes we are going to use in future also. Nowadays we are using, so it will be updated in future also. So we are using for multi-purposes. Energy is radiated from the sun in the form of electromagnetic waves. So the solar radiation, solar rays coming from the sun are in the form of electromagnetic waves, and 99% of these electromagnetic waves has a wavelength of 0.2 to 0.4 micrometers. So we know that 1 micrometer is equal to 10 power minus 6 meters, all of you. So 0.2 to 0.4 is the wavelength of electromagnetic waves what you are getting from the sun. So if you consider the solar energy, we can divide it into parts. So solar energy, where we are solar energy reaching the top of the earth atmosphere, consists 8% of ultraviolet radiation. This ultraviolet radiation is having a short wavelength of less than 0.39 micrometers. And second, the solar energy comprises of visible light. So the light what we see, it comprises 46% of the solar radiation, and the wavelength is medium. I am here. It is 0.39 to 0.78 micrometers. And third invisible is, first and third one is invisible, we cannot see through our eyes. Third one is infrared. This is 46%. This comprises totally 46%. It is having a long wavelength. That wavelength is greater than 0.78 micrometers. Right? So first and third we cannot see through our eyes. Only visible light we are seeing. That is coming from the sun. And next one is, next term we have to be familiar in future is solar constant. So we know that sun is a large sphere of hot gases and heat is generated in the sun by fusion reactions. We know that sun is a large sphere of heat. Every time fusion reactions will be going on in the sun and heat will be reflected, so heat will be developed in it, so that heat will be coming for our earth in the form of electromagnetic waves having a wavelength of 0.2 to 0.4 micrometers. So we see the sun's, we will compare the sun's and earth's diameter. Sun's diameter is 1.39 into 10 power 6 kilometers, and whereas earth diameter is 1.27 into 10 power 4 kilometers. So if you measure the mean distance between the earth and sun, or from sun to earth, it is 1.50 into 10 power 8 kilometers. So what you are having the diameters of suns and earth, it is the mean distance is more than those diameters. And although the sun is large, we know that sun is large, it subtends an angle of only 32 minutes at the earth's surface. So this low amount of angle subtending is due to very large distance between the sun and earth. So as there is a large distance between the sun and earth, the subtended angle is reduced only to 32 minutes. Okay, so the beam radiation received from the sun is also almost parallel. We will see this beam radiation in future. So we will be familiar with the word. We will be explaining the beam radiation after that. And we know that the brightness of the sun also varies. In the center, it will be bright, and when you come to the edge, it will be little bit decreased in the brightness. So this brightness of the sun also varies from center to the edge. But if you take in calculations, we can take almost the brightness of the sun as constant only. For simple calculations, we are taking the brightness of the sun equal. So as we see the sun from the earth, the radiation coming from the sun is equal to the radiation coming from a black surface. Okay, so outside there will be a black surface. The radiations of both surfaces can be equal to 5762 degrees kelvins. Okay, next term is solar constant. So solar constant, it is denoted by ISC. So it is the solar energy at the atmosphere. So the rate at which the